Hey guys, Drawing Drawer here with a new type of video. Today I'm going to be doing an in-person drawing and I'm going to be showing you how to make a guitar. So, I'm going to be drawing it diagonal, but feel free to adjust if you want to do it vertical or completely horizontal. So let's just get right into it. So we're going to be starting with the top of the guitar. You're going to want to go not to the very corner of your page, but around here. Yeah. So just start by making a somewhat straight line. It doesn't have to be very long yet. And then kind of curve it around like so. Now you're going to want to start with sketchy lines because that way if you need to edit or adjust, it's very easy to erase. You don't want to start by making hard, harsh lines right away. Really make it light and sketchy so that you can just edit and erase whenever you need to. Alright, now we're gonna come up here, bring this line out a little more, and curve it around like so. So feel free to make this smaller if you want to. I want my guitar to fill the entire page. But if you want to draw on a smaller scale, then by all means, feel free to adjust. I am just giving you the basis, and you can really do whatever you want with it. Just take it and run. Okay, now I have the top of our guitar. Sorry, you can't really see my whole paper right now. So you're going to want to start by bringing this line, kind of curving it a little bit inwards. Now, I recommend doing both sides at the same time. That way you can really try and get them symmetrical. Symmetry is something that's very, very hard to do when drawing. So I think doing them at the same time really does help. And that way you can kind of compare and see what edits you have to make. See how this part curves a little more than this? Yeah. I'm not going to adjust it right now, but if I were really going to take my time on this, that's probably something I would look out for. Okay, now we're going to bring this line, actually, okay, I'm going to start down here. We're going to bring this line and just continue to bring it out, kind of curve it upwards a little bit and around it once you reach the edge of the paper. So then we have kind of like an S shape. Now coming up here, I am going to work this and curve it to the edge of the paper as well, really trying to keep that guitar shape. Okay. So now I have this shape. And as you can see, it kind of looks weird going off the paper like that. But this is an easy change. Sorry, my paper is all wrinkly. All we're gonna do is kind of continue this line and bring it over, like so. Now, because I did my lines nice and light, I can easily erase. And I will round out this line as well. Okay. Now that I've really gotten the shape that I want, we're going to come up here to the neck of the guitar. And honestly, I recommend using a ruler for this part because I like my lines to be nice and straight. However, if you have a pretty steady hand, then that's just fine too. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw my lines like so. Okay, here's the thing that a lot of people get wrong when drawing guitars. They stop their line here at the top. However, guitars actually, the necks of guitars actually come down into the guitar itself because it hangs over the hollow part in the guitar. So you're going to want to bring this down considerably into the guitar. Again, just saying why drawing your lines light is important, because we have to erase here to allow the neck of the guitar to come down. Make sense? Okay, perfect. our guitar is essentially lying down, right? I mean, like I said, feel free to adjust this if you want. So we're gonna have to, like, the guitars aren't just the very tops, you know, it has a base, which is what we're gonna draw. So bring this line down, and you want this line to be actually pretty straight, don't curve it along. And we're going to just kind of follow where our guitar is going. Kind of have white here, and you want it to come in a little closer down here. If your line goes off the page, that is a-okay. You're gonna bring it back up, and then you're gonna have it another pretty straight line here. So then it looks like this. Again, another weird S. I recommend rounding out your lines on, like here, I'm gonna round that out, I'm gonna round out down here, but you really want this kind of base shape. Kind of contradicting what I said earlier, I'm going to just kind of take this line and curve it a little bit closer and actually put the straight up there. So then it looks like this. Okay, good. Now for the hollow part of the guitar, because that's where the sound really, how it really enlarges. So the hollow part of guitars aren't typically in the bottom. They're kind of more up towards, they're more up towards the top, because really when you play, you know, you have to play the strings down here. So I'm going to kind of, this is definitely where you want to really have your light lines, especially depending on the size of the guitar that you drew. You want to be careful about where your circle is going to come in. So once you are happy with the general shape of your circle, then you can press a little bit harder and really put it in there. So as you can see, I kind of have a bit more of an oval shape going on because I made the top of my guitar kind of narrow, but that's just fine. See? Works for me. And now I can come in and sketch a little harder on top of it just so I know where that's going to be, and I finally finish. There you go. Okay, now the strings of the guitar are going to connect to a little thing down here that has the fine tuners on it as well. Fine tuners are like the tiny little knobs you can see at the bottom of guitars. So I'm going to come in here with a bit of a curved line like so, and then I'm going to do a straight line and another curve. So you have almost a mustache shape. You're going to want to bring this line down and this line down, again working with symmetry, and then just connect it across. That was really bad. No worries. We can easily erase. It's okay if your line's not perfectly straight. So we have like this shape. There are 6 strings on a guitar. So you're gonna want to start with 6 evenly spaced nodules. Make sure you accommodate for the size of your guitar. When I previously did this drawing, I did it a lot smaller, so I didn't have the nodules so far spaced as I just started previously. So that looks pretty good. Your circles don't have to be perfect just yet. You're also going to want, there's a little thing called a bridge right here. That's how the strings stay up. It's really important to a guitar or any string instrument you play, like a violin, a viola, a cello. You'll see these bridges on all of them, so make sure you add that in. There's a little bit of overlap here. I'm just going to adjust that real quick. There we go. Good. The strings are tricky. You might have to draw them multiple times because sometimes you won't get your spacing correct. It's okay. A couple of notes when you do your strings. You want the strings to look like they're going over the bridge, which is this thing, as I mentioned previously. So you're going to want to start by making your line a diagonal and then continuing to go straight. Diagonal, straight. So it looks like it's bending, right? Also make sure that your strings are starting kind of in the middle of the fine tuner of the circle. And this final string that's gonna come out will most likely overlap with this line of the neck here. That is okay. That is how the strings on a guitar are over, right? So it's okay if it's overlapping this line. So I'm going to draw my strings and show you what it should look like. There we go. So my lines are not perfect. That's okay. You can edit. Now we're going to do the frets on the top of the guitar. Those are those like silver, sometimes bronze lines you'll see on the neck of the guitar. So really the amount is up to you. If you're going for super realistic, definitely find a picture of a guitar and count the amount of frets. If you don't mind if it's not really accurate, then that's okay too. So basically the most important thing is that make sure your frets aren't just straight lines, they have to be curved a little bit. Typically a fret lines up with the top of the circle. At least on my guitar it does. They start out closer together and then probably about here they start to space out more. So I would just keep that in mind when you're drawing in your frets. Start getting a little wider, and that's probably the max amount of space you want between each one. Maybe a little more is okay, but you really don't want to go any bigger than that. Okay. So just keep that in mind when you are drawing in your frets. There we go. Okay. This is the basic shape of a guitar. If you want to add more, if there's stuff I didn't add, go ahead. This is the basic though. As you can see, it looks pretty messy right now. That's okay. I'm going to go in and harden up my lines like that. Just by pressing a little harder on my pencil. If you want to outline with a pen, that would be a good idea as well. But really, just take your time, make it look good. I promise it'll be worth it in the end. I'm going to show you my finished product, and then we'll call it a day. So I'll be right back. Once you're done outlining, you'll come up with something to the effect of this. Now, I definitely recommend adding color. That can really make a huge difference. This is nowhere near perfect. Let's be honest. But I think for a 10-minute tutorial, I'm not sure how long this is, it's not too bad. Maybe I will upload coloring techniques, so I guess stay tuned for that, no pun intended. So thank you so much for watching this video, I hope it helped you.